In today's video, 4 tips to de-stress. Hey guys, Jeffrey here from Mindset to Mastery, where we talk about personal development. Today, talking about stress. A lot of us have stress in our lives. Life can be pretty chaotic at times. Responsibilities, things to do, duties. All of this can pile up in our minds and make us feel pretty stressed out. Small amounts of stress in your life is completely normal, and sometimes it can even be useful. But when stress overwhelms you, it can have a lot of negative consequences in your life. I want to share with you guys 4 strategies that you can use to manage your stress. Tip number 1, practice good self-care. When we're stressed out, we've already got enough on our plates to worry about. And when we don't look after the fundamentals of our self-care, we make life so much more difficult. So really important to focus on the fundamentals. Getting good sleep, making sure that your diet is good, and getting in some exercise as well. Those are the basic fundamentals there. Make sure you get those handled or your stress will become even worse. And also making sure that you take time to unwind and relax as needed. Because sometimes you just need to give yourself a break. And think about the things that you like to do to unwind. What are some hobbies that you have? What do you like to do so when you do the thing you feel relaxed, happy and joyful? So tip number 2 when you're feeling stressed out, being mindful. Meditation is really helpful when there's a lot on your plate. When you meditate, you calm yourself down, you reduce the nerves. It brings you back to the present and gives you more resilience to face your stresses. And what's useful as well is to just observe your feelings, thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations that you are experiencing. When you're stressed out, you may be experiencing lots of negative emotions. But when you're mindful, that allows you to take a step back and observe what you're experiencing at that moment without reacting. When you just observe yourself equanimously and look into yourself through a neutral lens, you'll find that that act in itself is calming and can be really useful in reducing your stress. Tip number 3, stop worrying. We all tend to worry way too much. And life is just a series of problems and stresses that keeps on occurring and it never stops. And we tend to worry and worry some more about all the worries and stresses and problems in our lives. But when you think about it, what's the point of worrying so much? What's the purpose of it? And what does it achieve? Nothing. It's really useful to realize that our worries are impermanent. A couple of years ago in your own life, what were the things that you were worrying about? And are you still worrying about it now? Maybe when you were studying in school or uni and you had exams, the night before the exam you were super stressed out in a panicked state. But thinking about now, about those exams, it doesn't really seem like such a big deal. The truth is that in life there will always be things to worry about, but it is a pointless exercise. So if you're finding that you're worrying, just allow your mind some time to work its thoughts out. And if you have to think about it for a couple of moments, just do that and let it be. Acknowledge your worries and realize that, okay, at this point in time, I am having some worries. But after you acknowledge those worries, the next step is to let go. Let go of it. Stop those worrying thoughts in its tracks and draw your attention to something else. But don't get caught up in that negative cycle of perpetuating those worrying thoughts, which sends you along this never-ending cycle of worrying. If those worrying thoughts come back again, that's okay. Acknowledge it. Think about it a little bit more if you have to, but then let it go. Stop thinking about it. So if you find yourself worrying a lot, cut those thoughts at its tracks, and that can help to reduce your stress levels. Tip number 4. Acceptance. Accept the fact that at this moment you are feeling stressed, and that's okay as well. You know, some of us think that we have to be happy all the time. We should always be positive, and negative emotions are not acceptable. We shouldn't feel that way. And if we feel any negative emotions and feelings, we should always sweep that under the rug. Ignore it, because we have to be positive. There is no room for negativity in our lives. But that mindset in itself is very unrealistic and pretty unhealthy as well. Because the fact is, as human beings, we experience an array and a huge depth of different emotions. Some of them are happy and positive, but not all of them are. There are lots of negative emotions that we feel, and that's okay. Realize that life has its ups and its downs, and at some point you will experience negative emotions, and that's okay. Accept it. When you accept your negative emotions and the emotional reality that you're currently experiencing, that in itself is a positive experience. Acceptance facilitates peace and tranquility. And when you accept, it's like a weight is being lifted. And also, it means that you are no longer stressed about being stressed, because that in itself can be stressful. Sometimes the stress in our lives can run deep. Maybe you're in a really tricky life situation that weighs down upon you like a ton of bricks, and you crave for things to be different. So maybe you're going through some tough times that's causing you to feel stress and tense, and it's all out of your control and there's nothing you can do about it. What are you to do in that situation? Can you be okay with your current situation? Can you accept it? How can you cultivate acceptance when things in your life aren't going to plan and your life seems to be unraveling and spiraling out of control? That topic probably deserves a video on its own, but for now, if you're going through some tough times, if you can find a way to accept your situation, that will take a lot of the weight off of your chest. Guys, so I hope you found those 4 tips useful there. We live really stressful lives at times, and chronic stress is one of those things that will have devastating long-term consequences to your physical, mental, and emotional well-being if you don't take proactive steps to reduce it if it is overwhelming you. Guys, so that is it from me. I hope you guys got something out of this video, and if you liked it, press like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more content just like this. Thank you for watching, have a nice day, and I will see you next time.